next great resource for local weather is now available.
DigitalWeatherDesk.com is your source for up-to-the-minute local weather. Add DigitalWeatherDesk.com to your favorites, download our app, and follow me on social media. The Digital Weather Desk, powered by Century Next Bank.
Hey everybody, happy Wednesday afternoon. Welcome to the Digital Weather Desk, powered by Century Next Bank. I'm Jared Floyd, joining you a smidge earlier than normal on this Wednesday afternoon. I-20 seems to be moving smoothly, but volume seems to be picking up just a smidge. Other than that, pretty nice afternoon underway. It's cloudy, but it's warm, and it's breezy. And I would expect those conditions to likely persist over the next couple of days. A look at temperatures across the area. We're back in the low to mid 70s. We were expecting mid to upper 70s, and some spots got there, but the cloud cover kind of slowed us down today, and that will probably be the one thing that keeps a lot of us from seeing the 80-degree mark tomorrow. There'll be some spots that see the sunshine and hit 80. Others probably won't. Fall short 76, 77 degrees. Still well above normal for this time of year. Compare that to where we were 24 hours ago. Most of us good 5 to 10 degrees warmer than we were at this point yesterday. Wind still breezy out of the south and southwest. Good afternoon, Carolyn. Thank you so much for joining in. But most locations continue on this breezy, cloudy, warm trend through the day tomorrow. And then a cold front approaches the area and stalls. It could bring a punch of cooler air in late Thursday into Friday morning. And then we warm back up for Friday afternoon. Then we cool down more dramatically, if you will, for the early parts of next week. Dew points are up there. You can see some drier air pooling to the northwest. That's that weak cold front that will approach the region over the next couple of hours, next couple of days. Infrared satellite shows, again, quite the persistent cloud cover across the area, and I really don't expect that overall trend to change much here in the short term. Your radar made possible by Brown's Roofing, the exclusive roofing partner of the Digital Weather Desk. No rainfall, and if we do see any rain in the next couple of days, it will be spotty and light. I wouldn't really count on a lot of prolonged, sustained, reliable rainfall across the region. Futurecast as we set up the next few days. Again, winds out of the south and southwest, a bit breezy at times tomorrow. Weak boundary approaches the region. Could allow for some late sunshine, especially across the southern counties, across southern Arkansas, our northern counties across southern Arkansas. You get what I'm trying to say. Anyway, the rain chances are back in for the southern parishes and counties tomorrow. Fairly spotty. Boundary kind of stalls, gets a little bit of a nudge through the area late tomorrow into early Friday morning. That could be the focal point of a little bit of scattered shower activity as well. Jeff, thanks so much for hopping in. And then eventually the winds are back out of the south, and you can kind of see that along the boundary as the winds crank up out of the south along the front. That pushes the front back to the north as a warm front as we get through the daytime hours on Friday. So now you've got winds back out of the south, and you can the boundary, the warm front's a little bit out of place, but you get the general idea. And then the cloud cover sets up ahead of another front that will advance through the region on Saturday. Northerly winds and northeasterly winds behind it. And eventually skies will clear shortly thereafter. Jeff says, why is the pressure so low? Well, we're working a weak cold front through the area, and that's what's really the driving force behind the falling pressures across the region. And it's going to be kind of weird over the next few days because that front's going to essentially stall and kind of wash out. So pressure will just kind of ebb and flow back and forth depending on location and your proximity behind the boundary. It could be kind of a funky couple of days in terms of barometric pressure. Typically, when you get behind the boundary, behind a cold front, the pressure rises. But a lot of areas will be they'll be behind the boundary, ahead of the boundary. So again, pressures could do some weird stuff over the next few days. Eventually, high pressure settles in, barometer rises as we go through the end of the weekend, with high pressure building in and a cooler air mass starting to build in across the region as well. Harlan, thanks so much for joining in. Good evening. Look at the upper level pattern, and this is kind of how things have shaped up for much of this week. We're just kind of stuck with this soggy southwesterly flow. Not enough of a significant storm system or disturbance in the atmosphere to generate any rainfall. It's just been cloudy and warm and kind of muggy. And that will likely continue through the next couple of days, eventually capped. While some weak disturbances continue, most of the major storm systems stay well to our north across portions of the upper Midwest and the Great Lakes region. And it takes that cold front, that final nudge of a boundary, to move through the area, this trough of low pressure to move through the area on Saturday to really kind of alter the upper level pattern. And note, as we mentioned midday, once we get beyond that Thursday front, how much of our pattern is now northwesterly, which means a lot of dry air, some shots of colder air as well. In fact, that's kind of capped by an amplification of the upper level pattern and a shot of cooler air that arrives late Monday into early Tuesday morning, and will probably push a lot of areas back below freezing for Tuesday morning. But then after that, ridge of high pressure starts to kind of move back into place, and we start the warming trend all over again. And while we do work another weak disturbance in maybe the middle parts of next week, and that can maybe work another cold front through the area, we've never hit a point during that stretch where we have any kind of appreciable amount of moisture to stream back in across the area. So it doesn't really drive a whole lot of rain chances. So as we go into the weekend, specifically looking at Saturday, that front moves through during the daytime hours on Saturday. Now, some spots will be cooler to the north, warmer to the south, and I really froze it on Saturday afternoon because I wanted to show you kind of the wide array of temperatures that we'll see as the cold front makes its way through the area Saturday. Beyond that, cooler air really blankets the entire region as we get into Sunday. Temperatures only in the 50s for highs. Northerly or northeasterly winds, could be a little breezy at times, and then many of us will probably hover right around or just above freezing for Monday morning. Temperatures recover a little bit in the afternoon on Monday, but we have that reinforcing shot of cool air that I mentioned on Monday that really amplifies the upper level pattern for a brief period of time, sends another shot of cold air our direction, and drops a lot of us back below freezing for Tuesday morning. It's not a lot of time below freezing. We'll spend several hours below freezing across southern Arkansas, and for the rest of us, it's just kind of a brief foray into sub-freezing temperatures. I don't know if that's the right word, but it seems like the right word. We will not spend a lot of time below freezing, but we will drop below freezing. Frost will be a potential and all that kind of stuff. Temperatures get back into the 50s and 60s, probably the 60s for Tuesday afternoon, and then we're back into the 70s by the middle parts of next week. So this brief dip in terms of sub-freezing temperatures is extremely brief, all things considered. And temperatures rebound nicely middle parts of next week, and then we're back above normal. Lows tonight, low 60s, upper 50s maybe, depending on cloud cover. A spotty shower can't be ruled out. Winds will be out of the south. Staying warm and breezy tomorrow with daytime highs in the mid to upper 70s. Again, a spotty shower can't be ruled out through the course of the day. Best chances are probably in the southern parishes and counties, at least south of I-20. Ernest, Brenda, thank you so much for joining in. Winds will stay, again, breezy out of the south-southwest. Look at the 7-day forecast made possible by 3B Hardware. Most locations continue to stay in the 70s. But we will work that cold front in on Saturday, so a lot of us, I'd say half the area, the northwestern half, will probably be in the 60s on Saturday. 50s on Sunday, 50s on Monday, back to near 60 on Tuesday, with morning lows hovering near the freezing mark for Tuesday morning. That'll probably be the coldest morning we see over the next 7 days. And that's how the forecast shakes out on this Wednesday, February the 18th. Rain chances Friday morning, right around sunrise in the southern counties and parishes. Same story for the southern counties and parishes, mainly early Saturday morning, probably shortly after midnight into early Saturday morning. And those rain chances are maybe 20, 30%, maybe up to 40% at best along the Mississippi Valley. Not a whole lot to work with rain chance-wise. And where we do see rain, I wouldn't really expect a lot of appreciable heavy rainfall, which is the downside considering the drought conditions that we reside in, and that will likely be amplified and I know a lot of folks, as we crawl out of this ice storm and we continue to deal with a lot of muddy conditions across the area, they're like, how in the world can we still be in drought conditions? Well, again, a drought's a lot more than just one storm system. It goes back, 60, 90 days and even longer in some instances. Ben, thanks so much for joining in. I appreciate the kind words. And thanks so much for everybody for joining in on what is a relatively quiet week weather-wise. And again, I want to acknowledge that. I don't want, as we do these live streams, I don't want folks to think that I do them because they're necessary. They are to me because, again, I think providing a consistent, regular weather presence is important. But let's be honest. There's not a whole lot happening right now weather-wise, so we're watching the cool down for next week and any subsequent rain chances over the next 3 or 4 days. But no big severe weather systems, no big punches of cold air or anything that's really disruptive headed our way in the next 7 to 10 days, and that's good news. Forecast is always available at digitalweatherdesk.com and on the Digital Weather Desk app, available for Apple and Android users. Your Fish and Game forecast, which is made possible by First South Farm Credit, comes out at 8 p.m. tonight. I will join you in the morning, probably relatively early. I'm going to try to make it out to Coffee and Conversations with the Monroe Chamber of Commerce, so that's at 8 a.m. And so I'm going to kind of try to make it all work in the morning. So I'll join you probably at around 7-ish, if I had to guess. And then the rest of the day should go on as normal. Thank you so much for joining the Digital Weather Desk powered by CenturyNext Bank. Thanks for making this a routine part of your day. And if it's not a routine part of your day, well, then we're just glad you're here now. And thanks for being part of our community. Have a great rest of your Wednesday. I'll see you tomorrow morning.
My name's Chris O'Byrne. I'm with Brown's Roofing. There's a common misnomer in the insurance restoration industry that taking an insurance claim start to finish is similar to remodeling a bathroom. Well, in fact, there's a lot of red tape on the process. Sometimes major adjustments are needed to be able to get the work done and get the work done right. It is very important for an educated representative to get with you today and walk you through this process start to finish. Your peace of mind is our top priority.